Hey, it's Mike. Thanks for tuning back in. Thursday, starting tomorrow, I have a weekend of Mike, which happens once a year, and it's the greatest weekend of the year. Obviously, that doesn't include my kids. It's the only weekend that doesn't include my family. But it's a weekend where I have no vehicle because my wife takes it with our youngest to New Hampshire to visit her sister, and yeah, basically junk food and horror movies all weekend. And catching up on some content creation, which I'm really excited about. I have some videos I'm going to be cranking out for the next week or two. So we'll see. I'm excited, but I'll be reporting on the weekend of Mike in my Monday newsletter. So today I'm doing numbers 34 through 30 of my Attainable Collection of Envy 100. Gone through 65 cards so far, 66. And we are nearing the top 25. And I have to decide what to do with that top 25. Do I keep going in batches of 5? Do I do one at a time for 25 weeks? I am undecided on that. So I'm open to your feedback. So number 34. Remember, these cards all have to be able to be purchased for under $5,000 each. Not very attainable for me, but if I work really hard at it for a long, long time, I could have all of these. We'll see. Number 34 is the 1986 Topps Jerry Rice. This is a stunning copy. PSA 8, I picked this up at the Portland Card Show a couple of years ago. Maybe it was about a year ago now. I paid $180, which is a little under the average for a PSA 8. You know, they're roughly 200 at the time I bought it. Was going for 2 to 220, but you know, he was willing to, at a card show, take a little bit less because he wouldn't be selling it on eBay, and he doesn't have a storefront, so perfect opportunity. Jerry Rice. I mean, what needs to be said about Jerry Rice? Won the Super Bowl 3 times with 2 different quarterbacks. Played for, I didn't even write it down here. I think he played for 22 seasons, something like that. 13 Pro Bowls. He was pretty good. I don't think anybody was complaining about having him on their team. Led the league in receiving yards 6 times, receiving touchdowns 6 times. He is the career leader in receptions and yards and touchdowns for receivers. 197 touchdowns. Pretty good. A PSA 8 of this card, and he is widely considered to be the greatest wide receiver of all time. Some people think Randy Moss is up there too, but I think it's Jerry Rice. PSA 8 of this card, as I said, 180 to $200. There are 40,000 of these cards in the total PSA population. So 86 junk wax era, there was a lot printed. Next up, number 33 is 1961 Fleer Jerry West. Before I get to that though, this video and this series is sponsored by The Penny Sleever, the best in the industry. They just are on the verge of announcing some big new products, vintage products for supplies to protect your vintage baseball cards and sports cards. I'm really excited about it. Make sure you can use my code JWH for 10% off your first order. You can get free shipping on orders over $59. Best in the industry, best sports card supplies in the industry. All right, Jerry West. If you know anything about basketball history, first of all, he's now known as the logo because the NBA logo is based on a photo of him. He's one of the greatest basketball players of all time. He was in the NBA 75. He was a 14-time All-Star, won the championship in 1972. He was also the Finals MVP in 1968, 69, I think it was, when his team didn't even win the championship, which is amazing. He was also 5-time All-Defensive, top 5 in MVP 8 times, 6-time champ as a GM for the Lakers. He became their GM in 1982, I think, and won 6 titles with them. He also won 2 with Golden State as a consultant in the 2014-15 era. A PSA 1 to 3 goes for around $500 each. So 1, 2, or 3, pick one. You're going to get it for roughly $500, depending on quality, of course. There are about 2,000 of these in the population at PSA. Number 32 is the 1993 SP Derek Jeter. I have a bunch of Derek Jeter rookie cards. I do not have this one, and I should. It's pretty cheap, as I will show you in a minute. Jeter, one of the athletes that I irrationally hated the most when he was playing. There's really no good reason. The main reason Red Sox fans hate, and I'm a Red Sox fan, hate Jeter, or hated Jeter, were A, he was really good for a really good team, while our team was lackluster for the most part during his career. And because he was vastly overrated. But the overrated part isn't his fault. He was very good. One of the greatest, certainly a Hall of Fame career. There's no disputing that. But the media grossly overrated how good Derek Jeter was because they need that story. And so that drove Red Sox fans crazy. He never should have won a... I'm going to get so many angry comments. Mikey G. He never should have won any Gold Gloves, and he won 5 because he looks cool. He's like Michael Jordan in cleats on a diamond. He looked cool. He was cool as a cucumber. Captain Clutch. Doesn't go away, really. Then you've got like the game. I remember it so clearly. I think it was 2003 or 4 when Red Sox fans were starting to sour on Nomar. And Nomar refused to play. That was the rumor. That was what we all believed because we were really starting to sour on him. It was against the Yankees. He should have played, and he sat on the bench. Jeter dove into the stands, got like a bloodied face from diving into the stands and making a catch, and it was like this watershed moment. Like, okay, that's pretty awesome, even if we didn't believe he needed to dive in. Like in that playoff series against the A's where he intercepted a pass to home plate and they tagged out, I think it was Jeremy Giambi. How do I remember all this stuff? I don't know. We all, of course, believed Jeter didn't even need to do that. He could have just let the ball go by. I don't know. That's just what we thought. I can't wait to read these comments. All right, the SP Jeter, I've got all these Jeter stats here. 5-time World Series winner, blah, blah, blah. 14-time All-Star, 8-time top 10 in MVP voting. He was great. I'm not disputing his greatness. 25,000 of these in the population. There are only 22 that are a 10. And I think the highest one ever went for a little over $200,000 for a PSA 10. Doesn't go that high anymore, of course. That was in the pandemic era, the boom. You can get an 8 for about $300 or a 7 or under for under $100. So I'd be looking for like a nice 7, I think, just to get one. And I've looked, I'll probably get one on COMC soon because I have another card I need to pick up. You know, I probably will. Jeter. The one Yankee we loved, I think we can all agree, was Mariano Rivera. Because after he blew the series in 2004, not the World Series, the ALCS, he was being introduced the next year in the beginning of the season, I think. And I know I've talked about this before. And the Red Sox fans booed him, and he smiled. I think he tipped his hat. We loved him at that moment forever. Number 31. 1968 Topps. Nolan Ryan, Jerry Koosman. Koosman had a great career. This is not about him, of course. Nolan Ryan is the cornerstone of this card. The reason that it's so valuable. And I did this, if you're not aware, I bought this, paid $300 in a CSG 3, I think. It was either 3 or 4, I'm pretty sure it was a 3. Cracked it, sent it to each of them TTM through the mail to get autographed. And then I sent it off to PSA, and it came back as a PSA Authentic on the card, 9 on the autograph, which is great. I love it. Nolan Ryan, aside from the legendary, I've got another video I want to talk about. Is why I just saw this on Twitter, and I was talking with Brad, Hobby Champs, a great Twitter account, who asked, why is Jim Thome not more highly regarded? He's hit over 600 home runs. When you've got like a Aaron Judge, who's going to hit 500 in all likelihood, and he's great, is more highly regarded. And it's the stories. It's not, for most sports, it's not about how good they are. Just where did I hear, was it Greg on Midlife Cards talking about Kawhi Leonard yesterday? Why isn't Kawhi Leonard, why aren't his cards more valuable? It's because the stories. Kawhi Leonard's boring. Jim Thome was boring. Aaron Judge plays for the Yankees. Did he blow the World Series? Maybe. But he set the record for the AL home run. He's got stories, MVPs. And Nolan Ryan, where was I going with this? That's right, I've got to go back to Nolan Ryan. He beat up Robin Ventura. He's, over the span of 18 years, from his first to his last, an 8-time top 10 Cy Young. And there were 18 years separating the first and last of those. And he played for like 23 seasons. It's crazy. Did I mix up Nolan Ryan's and Jerry Rice's? I don't remember how many Jerry Rice played. He's got the most strikeouts in his career by a lot. And, you see the memes that go around all the time, like how many times he went 7 innings and gave up 0 runs and his team lost, or he didn't get a decision. It's crazy. It's criminal that he had so many bad teams he pitched for. There are people who say he threw 110 miles an hour and he never got injured. And the stories about Nolan Ryan will persist, and that's what will keep his cards at a reasonable level, at least his rookie card, for a long, long time. And I've talked about this a lot, but that's the important thing with card values. There are about 17,000 of these in the PSA population, only 110. You can get a 2 for under $500. Or you can get a CSG 3 or a 4 for much cheaper than that. Crack it, cross it. All right, number 30 is the 1965 Topps Joe Namath. Perhaps the most overrated football player of all time. Man, I'm going in some crazy directions here today. Joe Namath had in his career like 177 touchdowns and 220 interceptions. And I know the league was very different back then. I am aware. His team was 500 with him as the starting quarterback. I took down some other stats here. Only went to the playoffs twice. He only had MVP votes 1 time in his career. 50% completion rate. I know it was a different league back then. Led the league in yards 3 times. Never in touchdowns. Led the league in interceptions 4 times. But he had that Broadway Joe aura about him, the legend of Broadway Joe, where he guaranteed the Super Bowl win, and they won. It's the stories. And that's the important thing. His cards are worth, a PSA 1 runs over $1,000, almost $1,500. There are 2,000 of these cards in the PSA population. And it's oversized, right? I don't have it. I want it. It's oversized. I wish I could afford that right now. That's all I've got. Let me know what you think about any of these. I know you've probably already commented about Jeter. I know it. I can feel it. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I've got some really fun stuff. I'll be recording a video soon here. I don't know which one. Will I post this one on Thursday? Will I post that one on Thursday? We'll see. I'll see y'all soon.